Do you feel like there's never enough time to sit down and write your book? You've got a million things on your plate and writing keeps getting pushed to the back burner. But what if I told you that being too busy isn't actually the problem? In today's episode, I'm breaking down why your writing keeps getting sidelined in 3 simple ways to finally make it a priority without feeling overwhelmed or guilty. Let's get it. Ready to write your first book and make an impact? Do you wish you could organize your book ideas without feeling overwhelmed and actually find the time to write and finish your book? Hey, I'm Donna Cherie, a book writing coach and author. Welcome to Book Writing Made Simple. Inside this podcast, I'll teach you how to get a clear vision for your book idea, get organized, keep it simple, and develop a writing plan so you can finally get your book out into the world. Grab a notebook and pen with your favorite cup of tea. Hey sis, this is Donna Cherie. Welcome back or welcome to the Book Writing Made Simple podcast. I'm super excited to be chatting with you today. And let's jump right into today's episode. So today we're going to talk about this notion of not having any time to write your book. I know firsthand what it's like to constantly say, I just don't have time to write, or I just don't have time to do anything else in my schedule, or that I'm busy. And I believe, this is just my thought, that we wear busyness like a badge of honor, but in reality, not all busyness is productive, and not all busyness means productivity. Not all busyness are signs of success. Sometimes busyness really is an indication that you're drowning and that you're not prioritizing and that something is missing. So let's talk about it today. And in fact, busyness can distract us from the very things that God is calling us to do. So recently, I ran into someone that I hadn't seen in a while at an event I went to. And when she asked me how I was doing, my automatic response was busy. And I thought about it immediately after I said it, because it was like this look that I saw on her face, like that she was just like staring at me like, that's all you have to say of like how you're doing or what's going on in your life. And I thought to myself, why do I feel I had the need to equate being busy to being productive? And then I thought to myself, man, I wish I could have told her what I was really up to, like what was really going on in my life and all the great things that God is doing through me and around me and for me and to help others. But it was already too late by then. And I also thought to myself, I want to break this habit of thinking that being busy or saying that I'm busy is a good thing. Like that was kind of like a slap in the face this past week. And I hope that you too want to get out of this mindset or also this kind of automatic statement of I'm busy, like I'm busy, and just leaving it at that. So hopefully today's episode is for you. So many people dream of writing a book, but they get stuck in the cycle of they have too many irons in the fire, or I have too many projects going on at one time. I've talked to writers who say they're waiting for the perfect time to write their book, or they can't do it in this season because they have 5 other things going on right now, even though they have this strong desire and like this pit in their stomach that now is the time to write the book, or they're worried about the formatting of their book. And so that paralyzes them, or they're overwhelmed by everything they need to do in their life or what they think they have to be responsible for. Or it's like, what are some things that you can possibly lay down in this season and pick it back up later while you really focus and prioritize writing your book? And here's the truth. If you don't make time to write, the book will never happen. So you might be busy for the rest of your life, or you think that you're busy for the rest of your life. But if you don't make time to write, the book will never happen. And I don't want you to go another year with that dream still locked on the inside of you. I want you to be able to get your book out into the world and to share it with the people that God has assigned it to, and those who actually need your book, to help them be inspired, to be transformed, to be healed, to be enlightened, to see the glory of God. So let me share with you 3 practical ways to stop letting quote unquote busyness, or this mindset of busyness, or wanting to, because sometimes too, we want to feel like we're busy. And so we get involved with a lot of things so we can have like this busyness, so that there's no time to really reflect or do the things that we're supposed to do because we feel like they're hard, or we have some mindset blocks that prevent us from actually pursuing the things God has called us to do. So again, I'm going to share 3 practical ways to stop letting business run your life and finally make writing a priority. Because I'm going to give it to you straight. Writing should be a priority if this is where you are. And I had a client that I was working with, and she had been working on a book. I was helping her with something else, so not necessarily writing a book. It was in a different area of her life. But during the course of while we were working together, she shared that she had been writing a book, and I knew that God was leading me to go this direction to help people write a book. And I recently reached out to her because let me go back. So at that time, she wasn't focusing on her book. She had kind of like put it aside because there was a lot of different things going on, and that she was doing, or she felt like she was running into some roadblocks as far as like editing, or getting feedback for her book and all these other things. And I reached out to her just last week, and she shared with me that she is focusing on her book now, and that she has a plan to be done by a specific month to write her book. And she also shared, I don't remember offhand how many chapters she had already done, but like she has she's moving along in her chapters, and she shared that she actually had a clear message. Like, oh my gosh, that was so, it's just, for real, it just warms my heart to know that she's actually in this place, and being able to hear people say, that they were feeling one way about their writing, and it was keeping them in this cycle of overwhelm and, not accomplishing and not prioritizing their book, to finding like, yes, I'm focused on this book, and I'm actually getting somewhere, and I actually have a clear message. And I also have another client who is currently working on her book, which is so exciting. She's already on chapter 2. She's been in some of my master classes for book writing, and it's just a joy to be able to see and to know and to hear that she is pursuing writing her first book. And I don't know what else can excite me more than that at this moment in this time in my life. And so hence, this is why I want to talk to you today about prioritizing your book. So the first step, number 1, and be sure to get your notebook out, your favorite notebook, and your pen, or if you want to take notes in your phone, do that, please. So the first step is to assess your time. What is really going on in your life at this time? And take an honest inventory of where your time is actually going. So for the next 7 days, here's what I want you to do. Track how you spend your time. I know there's people who track their budget, they track what they're eating, they track their workouts. And for you as a writer, come on, let's track your time for the next 7 days. If you want to do it for a longer amount of time, feel free. But I really felt like this would be a simple way for you to really assess your time. So for the next 7 days, track how you actually spend your time. Every task, your break, your distractions, your work schedule, your ministry task. If you have meetings, track all of those things, and this will really help you to see patterns and identify where your time is being used and where it's slipping away. And that also includes that time when you're scrolling on social media. If you're one of those people who like to doom scroll or have, mindless scrolling on social media, is that time that you can actually be using to work on your book? So do that assessment for the next 7 days. The next step that you want to do after you have assessed your time for the next 7 days is to journal your time roadblocks. So take a moment to reflect and write down the obstacles that are keeping you from writing. So what have you identified in your time inventory of distractions, or where you were wasting time, or were you watching that series on Netflix for a certain amount of time? Were you binge watching a TV show or something and just wasting time when that could have been time that you were writing your book? And what are those unnecessary distractions? And then, as I like to call it, find those pockets of time that could be repurposed. So what could you be doing instead of binging the Netflix? Or what could you be doing instead of maybe talking on the phone for 3 hours? Can you cut it down to 1 hour? Or can you cut it down to 15 minutes, or let that person know that, hey, I'm really working on my book for this time, so I won't be able to talk as much as I usually do, but just know that I still love you. I'm still here for you. And it's because you really want to get your book out. So identify those pockets of time and then make adjustments to that. So what needs to be adjusted at this time in your busy schedule that you can relinquish or that you can change to start writing the book? And awareness is the first step to change. So if you're aware, then you can actually make those changes. And then the third step that I want to share with you after that, after you have journaled those time blocks and maybe Holy Spirit has revealed some things to you or helped you to identify some areas in which you can adjust your schedule, is to create one simple, small action step. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire schedule at once, like don't go ham, don't go in and change everything in your schedule all at once, but just find one area or one pocket of time in which you can carve this time out to start your writing or change in your schedule. And then during this time, this could be outlining a chapter. It could be setting a timer for 15 minutes of just writing. It could be jotting down key points that you want to include, finding some themes that you want to address for your chapter, or maybe it's just identifying what it is you want to write about. What is it that you want to write about? Who is it that you want to write to? Who is this book for? And as I always say, small steps lead to big results. So you can just start there with that small action step and go from there and build upon it. If you do that, I'm telling you, it's really going to help you to begin to prioritize your writing so that it's not overwhelming, so that it doesn't seem impossible, and so that you can finally no longer say that you don't have time to write your book, because I know that you do. I know that you do. And if you don't, maybe it's because it may not be that season, or that there's something critical going on in your life. But I don't believe that there's anything that happens by coincidence or luck or chance. And the fact that you found this podcast, it's time to write. So to recap real quick, these 3 steps that you can do to finally make writing a priority in your life is to, number 1, assess your time. Number 2, journal your time roadblocks. And then number 3 is to create one simple, small action step to get writing. And now that you've taken these 3 steps, I want you to be sure that you take action once you have identified what it is that's blocking you and the action step. Build upon that. And of course, this week, commit to tracking your time for 7 days. And after that 7 days, to journal about your roadblock. and then choose the one step to help move your book forward. By doing this, sis, you'll see exactly where your time is going. You'll uncover hidden opportunities to write and start prioritizing your book instead of pushing it to the side. Come on, let's get it out into the world. I love to hear how this works for you. Come and share it and share your progress inside of the Book Writing Made Simple Writers community at donnacherie.com/community. Let's do this together. I want you to get some support and some accountability. So come on over and join us there. I'd love to be able to see what it is that you came up with from doing this exercise. And until next week, ciao. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's episode inspired you to take that next step to write your book. Remember, small steps lead to big results. If this podcast has blessed you in some way, be sure to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. Your support means the world to me, and it helps others to find the show. Also, be sure to pass on the inspiration by sharing this episode with a friend who could benefit from this message. God bless you, sis, and never, ever give up.